And thank you. And let me tell you just how bad things are. Many of you know it just because of your own life experiences and what's happening in your own families and communities. But state revenues for the coming fiscal year are projected to be lower in terms of actual dollars with no allowance for inflation. So in the next fiscal year, the actual dollars coming into this state to operate our state's government are projected to be lower than they were in 2002, 7 years ago. Now that's an alarming set of circumstances, but it is the reality that we face. I was in Chicago earlier this week at a wind power conference, and I had a chance to talk with Governor Doyle of Wisconsin, Governor Granholm of Michigan, Governor Chet Culver of Iowa. Governor Doyle, as many of you may know, has been a champion of public education, and in his state they've done some really good things. Governor Doyle told me over the phone yesterday that he finds himself having to cut education. And he said, it has hurt me deeply to do that. But we're trying to hold the line in Ohio, and thank God for President Barack Obama and the Democrats who supported the stimulus plan. Otherwise, Ohio would be flat on its back today. And so I say there's no excuse for inaction, though, even in these difficult times. Establishing an education funding structure that for the first time, and you all know Bill Phillips, and you know what a bulldog he's been in defense of public education. And Bill Phillips has traveled this state with me, going to editorial boards in Cleveland and Akron and Dayton and Cincinnati, because Bill Phillips believes that we have finally done what needed to be done, and that was identify the components that are necessary for a high-quality education and committing this state to fund those components. Now, we're not doing it immediately, but we are beginning immediately. This next budget will begin the process, and over time we will have what we have desired and what the Supreme Court has said we must have for over 10 years, and that is a constitutional system of funding our schools that does not rely upon residual budgeting. It does not rely on just taking care of all the other states' needs and using what's left over to distribute for education. And so we think that is a major, major step in the right direction. Now, I want to thank the Speaker of the Ohio House of Representatives, Armin Budish, and I want to thank Steve Dyer, who is the chair of the Ohio House Education Committee. As we've gone from editorial board to editorial board with Chairman Steve Dyer, I have said to the editorial board members, this guy has paid the price to study the education system in Ohio and to be able to respond to the specifics that you ask him about. A lot of the critics haven't taken time to study the plan, but Steve Dyer and Armin Budish did. And they took a plan that I submitted and they made it a better plan. And it's a plan that I fully support. Now, our plan is going to the Senate. And this is a critical time because over the next few weeks, decisions will be made. And it is important that we have the support of you and this great organization as we confront those who would believe that we're doing okay the way we are, that our current approach doesn't need change. And so I'm here this morning in part to ask you to carefully and thoughtfully consider the support that you can give to this effort. We're asking school districts to do some things they haven't done in the past. We're asking them to report not only academic outcomes and standards, but we're asking them to report operational expenditures, and we want a transparent system. I believe if we can pull together the various stakeholder groups in this state, and they are many, we can embrace a plan that will give us what we need and improve our schools and, quite frankly, I think make life a lot more pleasant for you. Of course, whether or not we are going to succeed or fail will depend upon whether or not we work together to get this accomplished. The plan that I have put forth, Pat, I believe reflects the values that are embraced by this great organization. You care about the children, the students. You care about public education. And I don't want to disparage private education, but my responsibility as governor, and I think the responsibility of this organization, is to make sure that this great equalizer, this great opportunity provider, public education, the single thing that has made this country among the most egalitarian countries in the entire world, must be protected. And that's what we're trying to do with this plan. Now, I close by saying this. It's not a perfect plan, my friends. And quite frankly, there may be some pieces of it that are not exactly what I would have chosen to put in it if I was a dictator. Sometimes I have those thoughts. In case the press is here, I was joking. Okay. You never know.